Wilson and Dedmon headed to Paris, and they meet the line at the same time. 44.2.
When you think about the greatest sprinters ever, Usain Bolt's name always comes up first. But here's something wild. There's a 17-year-old kid who just did something in the 400 meters that even Bolt never tried, and he did it while still going to high school. Meet Quincy Wilson. This kid from Maryland just ran 44.10 seconds in the 400 meters. To put that in perspective, only 3 people in the entire world ran faster than him this year. And they're all grown men who do this for a living. But Wilson is still a high schooler. So how did a teenager become one of the fastest 400-meter runners on the planet? Let's start from the beginning. Wilson was born in Connecticut but grew up in Virginia before his family moved to Maryland. His dad was in the Navy and his mom played college soccer. Both parents taught him one important thing. If you want something, you have to work harder than everyone else. His mom would always tell him the same thing. Stay focused, she'd say. And Wilson took that seriously. He gets straight A's in school. He's never scored below a 94 on any report card. He wants to study engineering. His classmates even joke that he's like ChatGPT because he's so good at writing essays. But Wilson's not just smart in the classroom. He's fast. Really fast. He started running when he was just 8 years old. By the time he was 14, he was already breaking records that had stood for 30 years. When he was in 8th grade, people started recording his races and putting them online. The videos went viral. Everyone wanted to know, who is this kid? In 2023, when Wilson was 15, he ran his first race under 46 seconds for the 400 meters. Most high school seniors never run that fast in their entire careers. Wilson did it as a freshman. Then came 2024. That's when everything changed. In March, Wilson ran 45.76 seconds at a high school championship. That time would have been good enough to finish 4th at the World Championships. Think about that. A high school junior running times that could compete at the world's biggest track meet. But the craziest moment came at the Penn Relays in April 2024. Wilson's team was running the 4x400 meter relay. That's where 4 runners each run 400 meters and pass a baton. Wilson was running last, which is called the anchor leg. In the first race, one of Wilson's teammates fell and dropped the baton. They were way behind. Wilson got the baton in last place. Then he did something nobody expected. He passed 5 runners. 5 on one lap around the track. His time, 44.37 seconds. His team made it to the finals. In the finals, another teammate fell. Again, Wilson was way behind. Again, he ran a crazy fast time trying to catch up. Even though they finished 3rd, people couldn't stop talking about what they just saw. One person watching said it felt supernatural. A few weeks later, Wilson went to the U.S. Olympic trials. These are the races that decide who gets to go to the Olympics. Wilson was 16 years old, racing against the best runners in America, grown men with years of experience. He ran 44.66 seconds in his first race, then 44.59 in his second race, then 44.94 in the finals. He finished 6th place. And you know what? That was good enough. At just 16 years old, Quincy Wilson made the Olympic team.
Here they come off the turn, the top 5 advance. Quincy Wilson, high school sophomore from Maryland.
He became the youngest American male track athlete to ever compete at the Olympics, ever. Before he left for Paris, Wilson raced one more time in Florida. He ran 44.20 seconds and beat everyone, including professional runners who do this full time. People started asking, is this kid for real? At the Paris Olympics in August 2024, Wilson ran in the early rounds of the 4x400 relay. The U.S. team made it to the finals, and they won the gold medal. Wilson got a gold medal too, even though he didn't run in the final race. At 16, he was an Olympic champion. After Paris, Wilson tried some different races. He ran the 500 meters and the 600 meters. He didn't win all of them, but he learned something from every race. As Wilson said, just coming in with confidence, I think, can be the best thing, because you have to attack those days you don't feel like going up that last hill. When 2025 started, Wilson had a target on his back. Everyone wanted to beat the Olympic gold medalist. In May, another high school runner named Jaden Horton Mims beat him in a close race. People online started asking questions. Was Wilson slowing down? Was he just lucky last year? Wilson didn't say much, he just kept training. Then came July 12th, 2025. Wilson showed up in Memphis, Tennessee for a big professional race. This wasn't a high school meet. This was the Ed Murphy Classic, where the best runners in the world compete. Wilson lined up in lane 5. Next to him was Stephen Gardner from the Bahamas. Gardner won the Olympic gold medal in the 400 meters back in 2021. He was the champion. Wilson was the high school kid. When the gun went off, something different happened. Wilson's coach had been telling him all season about his starts. "Stay on the process, do what we've got to do," the coach would say. Wilson had been getting out of the blocks too slowly. Not this time. Wilson told this to the reporters after the race, "If you see my races before, I haven't been getting out. My coach has been telling me, stay on the process, do what we've got to do. I went out there and shot out like a bullet." He wasn't kidding. By 80 meters, Wilson was right next to Gardner. By 200 meters, he was ahead. By the finish line, he wasn't just winning. He was destroying the field. The clock stopped at 44.10 seconds.
Wilson was inside, he's covering before inside, coming. Can Wilson hold on? It is going to be Quincy Wilson!
Let that sink in. A 17-year-old high school student just ran 44.10 in the 400 meters. That's the 4th fastest time in the world this year. That's faster than Olympic silver medalist Matthew Hudson Smith from Great Britain. That's a new world best time for anyone under 18 years old. Wilson beat the second-place runner by almost 0.3 of a second. In sprinting, that's huge. He wasn't just faster, he was way faster. After the race, Wilson was thankful but focused. He said, "Staying to my coach's plan and trusting his process. I feel like this season is really starting to come upon what I've been working for right now." The time of 44.10 puts Wilson second on the all-time list for runners under 20 years old. The only person faster, Steve Lewis, who ran 43.87 at the 1988 Olympics when he was 19. That record has stood for 37 years. Wilson has 3 more years to break it. Now here's the crazy part. Wilson has broken the under 18 record 4 different times. He keeps racing and keeps getting faster. Most athletes break a record once and celebrate for years. Wilson breaks records and then breaks them again a few months later. Looking at his times year by year tells an amazing story. At 14, he ran 48.41. At 15, he was under 46 seconds. At 16, he ran 44.20. At 17, he's now at 44.10. He's dropping huge chunks of time every single year. So why bring up Usain Bolt? Because Bolt, the fastest man who ever lived, never specialized in the 400 meters. He stuck to the 100 and 200. Wilson is doing what Bolt never did, completely dominating the 400 meters as a teenager, setting records, and winning Olympic gold in that specific event. Bolt was incredible at his distances, but Wilson is writing his own history in the 400, doing things no teenager has ever done before.
最后的冲刺拉开优势，绝对的实力，23秒19，真的是。
Chen Yuji just ran faster than any teenage girl in Asia has ever run before, and she made it look easy. On November 17th in Guangzhou, China, something special happened at the country's national games. A high school student named Chen Yuji stepped onto the track for the women's 100-meter final. What happened next shocked everyone watching. She flew down the track in just 11.10 seconds to win the gold medal. That time broke a record that had stood for 28 years. Let me put this in perspective. The old Asian record for athletes under 20 years old was 11.17 seconds. That record was set way back in 1997. Chen didn't just beat it, she smashed it by 0.07 of a second. In sprinting, that's huge. Chen was born in December 2008. That means she wasn't even alive when some of her competitors started running. But on this night, none of that mattered. She started in lane 7 and didn't have the best start when the gun went off. By the time she hit the 50-meter mark, though, she had caught up to everyone else. Then she just kept getting faster. She crossed the finish line almost 0.3 of a second ahead of the silver medalist. In a 100-meter race, that's like winning by a mile. After the race, Chen seemed calm about the whole thing. She said, "I finally executed the technique I've been working on for so long. I felt very relaxed." For someone who just broke a 28-year-old record, that's pretty cool to hear. So where does Chen rank in the world for her age? She now has the 4th fastest time ever run by a girl under 18 years old. Only 3 other teenagers in history have run faster. The fastest is American sprinter Candace Hill, who ran 10.98 seconds when she was also 16. That happened back in 2015 in Seattle. The other 2 are both from Jamaica. Brianna Williams and Tina Clayton are Olympic athletes who have both run faster times as teenagers. Clayton just won a silver medal at the World Championships this year. But here's what makes Chen's story even better. She wasn't just at the National Games to run the 100 meters. 2 days later, on Wednesday, she came back and won the 200 meters too. She ran 23.02 seconds to take home another gold medal. That time was the fastest winning time in the 200 meters at the National Games since 2001. That's 24 years of competitions.
그리고 이제 페레이라가 따라갑니다. 자, 첸유지의 페레이라. 첸유지의 페레이라.
마지막 구간. 페레이라. 첸유지.
Chen became the youngest person ever to win both the 100 and 200 meter races at China's National Games. The games have been held for 66 years. No teenager has ever done what she just did. After winning both races, Chen gave herself a grade. "I'd give my performance at the National Games 150 points," she said. When you break records and win 2 gold medals, I guess you can give yourself extra credit. Let's talk about China's National Games for a second. This isn't just some small track meet. It's basically China's version of the Olympics. The country holds it every 4 years. This year's games had about 14,000 athletes competing in 34 different sports and 419 events. When you win at the National Games, you've beaten the best athletes in a country of over 1 billion people. That's serious. Chen's journey to this moment started when she was in 5th grade. That's when she began training in athletics. She grew up in the city of Ningbo in Zhejiang province. Both of her parents were athletes, so sports run in her family. From the start, she was good, really good. She won almost every student meet in her hometown. Then she started beating older girls in provincial competitions. It became clear pretty quickly that she was special. Last year, in June 2024, Chen won her first national championship. She was just 15 years old. She beat 2 Olympic athletes named Liang Xiaojing and Gay Monkey. People started paying attention. This wasn't just another fast kid. This was someone who could compete with China's best sprinters right now. This year has been big for Chen. In April, she ran at the Xiamen Diamond League meet. The Diamond League is where the world's best track and field athletes compete. Chen finished 4th in the 200 meters with a personal best time of 22.99 seconds. Not bad for a high schooler running against professionals. Then in September, she competed at the World Championships in Tokyo. She was the youngest female athlete at the entire championships. She ran the 200-meter heats and also ran on China's 4x100 relay team. Just being there at 16 years old is amazing. Most athletes don't make it to the World Championships until their 20s. Now let's talk about the woman who finished second to Chen in the 100 meters. Her name is Wei Yongli, and she's 34 years old. Wei is one of the greatest Chinese sprinters of all time. She's won 3 Asian Games gold medals. Back in 2015, she became the first Chinese woman ever to reach the 100-meter semifinals at the World Championships. At the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, she helped China's relay team finish 6th. That was the best result ever for Chinese women in that event. Wei knew this would be her last national games. After losing to Chen, she said something really nice. "I am actually happy that it was Chen who won today. She represents a bright future for Chinese women's sprinting." Wei then made a prediction. "I hope to see her crack 11 seconds on home soil in Beijing in 2027. That's when the World Championships will be held in China's capital city." Breaking 11 seconds in the 100 meters is a huge deal for women sprinters. Only the very best in the world can do it. If Chen can do that in 2 years at age 18, she'll be competing with the top sprinters on the planet. Another top Chinese sprinter named Gay Mankey also praised Chen. Gay holds the national indoor 60-meter record. She said, "She's such a strong newcomer, and her development has rekindled our hope if she joins us in the relay." China is already thinking about the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. They want Chen on that relay team. With her speed, they think they can finish even higher than 6th place. Chen has gotten a fun nickname from her fans. They call her Pocket Rocket. The name comes from Jamaican Olympic champion Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, who was called that first. Fraser-Pryce is only 5 feet tall, but won 3 Olympic gold medals in the 100 meters. She was small, but incredibly fast. Chen is also small for a sprinter and has that same explosive speed. Plus, she has a bright smile and a positive attitude. The nickname fits perfectly. On Wednesday night, after winning the 200 meters, Chen talked about her race. She explained, "I've been focusing more on the 100 meters, so my condition for the 200 meters wasn't fully there. The 200-meter result is a satisfying one for me, though it's not my personal best." Even when she wins and sets records, Chen thinks she can do better. That's the mindset of a champion. She also talked about how she won. "I just told myself to push a little harder," she said about the final stretch of the race. When asked if she prefers the 100 or the 200, Chen said, "Right now, I don't really prefer one over the other. I'll keep working on both." Despite all her success, Chen stays humble. After the national games ended, she said, "I'm excited, but now it's over. I want to focus on the long term and keep training well, staying humble and working hard. Now, it's time to look forward." She also said, "This competition is just the beginning of my career."
The switch feels really nice, really exciting, also really scary. It's a really big challenge. That's also why I want to do it while I still feel at my best.
Femke Bol has done what few elite athletes ever dare, change events at the peak of her powers. The reigning 400-meter hurdles world champion has stunned the track world by announcing that she's moving up to the 800-meter starting in 2026. And while many are applauding her bravery, the question now is, can she dominate this new territory just as she did the hurdles? Let's find out.
It's an absolute procession. It's a glittering gold for Femke Bol.
For most athletes, switching events mid-career is risky. Doing it after winning multiple world titles, breaking records, and holding a #1 ranking, that's unheard of. But Femke Bol isn't most athletes. She's a generational talent who's never been afraid of the unknown, and now she's setting her sights on the 2-lap battlefield. Before we talk about the future, let's remember who we're dealing with. Bol is not just a world champion, she's a phenom. Her resume includes world records, Olympic medals, and 24 major international golds. She holds the world indoor 400-meter record at 49.17, a European record in the 400-meter hurdles at 50.95, and multiple Dutch national records. Her 2025 season alone saw her undefeated in the 400-meter hurdles, a world-leading time of 51.54, and her 5th Diamond League trophy. She added silver and bronze medals in the mixed and women's 4x400-meter relays at Worlds and was crowned European Athlete of the Year for the 3rd time. She's done everything there is in the 400-meter hurdles, except win individual Olympic gold. Yet, instead of staying in her comfort zone to chase that last piece of glory, she's chosen a fresh start in one of track's most unpredictable races. So, why the switch? According to Bol herself, it's about timing. "I'm still young. I'm mentally, physically feeling really fit," she said in an exclusive interview. "It's a really big challenge. That's also why I want to do it while I still feel at my best." After the Olympics, she and her coach Laurent Muley began reflecting on her next steps. They agreed. The 800 meters would test her in entirely new ways. It's a mix of endurance, speed, and tactics, and Femke was ready to push her limits again. And while she's stepping into this event as a beginner, Bol brings with her a toolbox few others can match. Her sprint speed is elite, her endurance is proven, her mental game is one of the strongest in track and field. But even with those tools, success at 800 meters isn't guaranteed. Let's talk about her numbers. Femke Bol is already one of the most complete athletes on the track. Her top-end sprinting capabilities include a personal best of 11.47 seconds in the 100 meters, an indoor 200 meters, best of 22.64, and an outdoor best of 22.80. These aren't just good, they're world class.